Let me click captions. Captions. I always lose captions. There it is. Show captions. There we go. For those of you that need it, you will now be able to see the captions. All right then. And if you don't want to see the captions, I think you can like get rid of it if you want to. Right, now I'm going to share my screen with you while Shelley lets you in. There we go. Da, da, da. Right then. So what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to keep the chat on for you. So if you want to chat throughout, feel free. If you don't like seeing people chat throughout, just minimize the chat for now. And then you can not get distracted by it, because I do need you to concentrate a little bit on this one. It's not as easy as some of my other classes, but I want you to get this right. So I'm going to help you, help yourself, but also help other people with their strategy. So I'll just quickly introduce who I am. Most of you know who I am. I know that some of you don't. These days, I run a multi-seven-figure business, working less hours than I did in a 9-to-5. I still get time to spend with my 12-year-old twins, because most of what I do is either passive or semi-passive. And I've made, over the past 7 years, £20 million. And the way I've been able to do this when other people have not been able to do it is because I have used strategy in everything I do. And the reason I've done that is because I used to work in an investment bank. And in that investment bank, I was a risk analyst. So everything was about strategy. Everything was about looking at what you needed to change to make sure things work. And I worked there during 2008 when there was the big crash, and I saw which companies made money and which didn't during an economic recession, a hard time. And we're going through something like that right now. And so I think that's why it's enabled me, even in these times, to be able to continue to make a lot of money. And my clients have continued to make a lot of money, more importantly. I ran my first business. It was an offline business, a wedding planning business, and then built a multi-million dollar online business using ethical sales. I'm all about doing things ethically and with integrity. I don't like most of what I see online, and I'm trying to change that. But that's really what I'm about. So I'm just going to let a few people in. There we go. So my life wasn't always this way, just to make you realize that wherever you are in life at the moment, whatever you're doing at the moment, however hard it's been at the moment, doesn't mean that you can't change things around. I grew up like many other people, living in a council house in a single parent family. I started working at 16 years old, no qualifications. I was just an office junior, and worked my way up to being a risk analyst in the banking world. And it was in that corporate role that I really learned about what strategy really is. Strategy that I see people teach online isn't strategy. And you can tell that they've never had to deal with real strategy. The way people are teaching strategy online at the moment is just how to get a client. That's just marketing. It's nothing to do with strategy. And so when I saw this, I wanted to change the way people were doing strategy online, because I could see that if they just understood strategy, all the problems they were having, being stuck in their business and not making the money they wanted, all the challenges that people were having, whether it was with team, whether it was with sales, no matter what it was with, would be able to be solved, because strategy solves all of them. And yet people were only teaching marketing strategy. So by the time I was teaching others about business, I very quickly, people thought I had some kind of sixth sense, but actually, because of my knowledge of strategy, I was able to just see the gaps they had and help them get back to basics and make more profit in their business, because there's nothing magic about it. I could just see where those gaps were because I'm used to it. But if you haven't been used to that, you won't know where the gaps are. So you might be in business going, why isn't this working when it's working for this person over here? And it's because you're not seeing the gaps in your own strategy. Even if you're quite good at helping other people with their strategies, you often can't see your own gaps. There's a phrase that I always use, which is, you don't see the label from inside the bottle. And very often when you're good at helping other people, it's yourself that you're not very good at helping. So let's talk about why strategy is important right now, more than any other time for businesses, not just online businesses, offline businesses, corporates, and online businesses. It's a make or break year. And we all know that. I think lots of people are saying, if I can't make this work in 2024, then I'm doing something else, then I'm giving up. And a lot of people did quite well up until about 2022. And then all the tactics that worked up until about 2021, 2022 stopped working. And all of the winging it that people were doing stopped working. And so people are like trying to do things in the same way they were doing it. And it's not working, and it's making them want to give up. But they don't have to give up. All they need to do is use strategy. So we know that in a low economic climate, some of the things, especially scarcity and things like that, that used to work, don't work as well anymore. And it might be that winging it has got businesses so far. You can pretty much get a business going by winging it and making six figures, multi-six figures, but you won't go much further than that with winging it. And the market's changed over the past 18 to 24 months. If you have an online business, it's changed beyond all recognition. It just doesn't work the way it used to. And businesses have realized they need real strategy now. So why is this good for you? It brings a really good financial opportunity for those that want to do one of three things. One, start taking their own business seriously by implementing strategy in their own business, because it will put you ahead of the game, ahead of your competitors, because most people aren't. Two, if you want to start working as a business strategist, now is the time to satisfy the new demand in the current market. Everyone's talking about strategy at the moment. Everyone's looking for a strategist. And there's only a few of us out there, like a few of us that really know how to help and have a good reputation in the market. There's a few of us. We need more to satisfy the demand. The demand is huge. And the third one is adding business strategy knowledge to a business you already have. Now, if at the moment you're, for instance, a copywriter, a brand designer, a coach, something completely different, and you get clients, to make yourself stand out from somebody else that does exactly the same as you, to give you a better current value proposition, if you add strategy to your business, it will hugely up your game, because then people will say, well, I'm going to go with this copywriter because she also understands strategy, so she'll know why things aren't working. And that's what people want right now. So why are so many online businesses, especially, using strategy incorrectly and not seeing the results they want, when actually they're working with good coaches that are in integrity, coaches that are good at what they do, and yet they're still not finding the results that they want to? Because there's a myth around online strategy, and that is that it's just about how to market your business. Who has been on any kind of strategy training or strategy course where basically they told you marketing? Let me know in the chat. Yeah. And this is what always happens. And I used to sign up for these things and go, this isn't strategy. This is just marketing. This is just how to basically get a client. And that's not going to help. That's going to help a bit, but unless you have an underlying strategy, that's not really going to help. So that's not business strategy. That's a marketing plan, and it makes up a tiny percentage of an overall business strategy. For a strategy to really work and create sustainable business, not just a little bit of money for this month, we need to go deeper than that marketing strategy. It's why most strategy certifications being sold by online marketers just aren't cutting it. It's why having a coach to help you with business won't work unless you both understand the strategy that your business is following. Because if a coach isn't asking you, what is the strategy you're following right now, how can they possibly help you? Because if they don't know your strategy, they can't help you follow it. So that's why it's really, really important. So I hear this a lot, but I don't want to be too corporate. I started my own business to get away from corporate. I don't want to do the things that corporate do. And I get it. Like, I started my business because I didn't love being in a corporate environment. I didn't like being in an office. But that doesn't mean that the strategy practices that these huge corporates have been using for years and years, which is keeping them in business for years and years through many economic low periods, aren't working. They've worked really well to grow their businesses. And these small offline businesses that you see, they're using strategy in the same way, really successfully. But for some reason, online businesses, however small, don't do this, and they can access the same strategy information. It's all transferable with some online tweaks. And it means that once you understand strategy, you can help your business, you can help online businesses, offline businesses, corporate businesses. It's all the same. The gaps are the same. The way you do strategy is the same. And that's why I think it's really important that we start understanding what it means. So because of this, today I'm going to show you the 7 main parts of a true business strategy you need to be looking at. This is whether you want to do this for your own business or if you're helping somebody else with the issues in their business. If somebody ever comes to you and you're a coach or you're somebody that helps businesses and they're like, it's just not working, like I'm just not getting clients, I'm just not making the money, I'm just not where I need to be, that's a strategy problem. People will tell you it's a mindset problem. It isn't if there's no strategy. It can be a mindset problem if there is a full strategy in place and it's still not working. Then it sometimes is a mindset problem, but 99.9% of the time it's because they haven't got a strategy, not a proper one. And then it can be solved, and it's easy to solve. And that's the good thing about all of this. So I'm going to get going. How much of a percentage does it make up? Do you mean the marketing strategy? About 15%-ish. Okay, let's go. Are we ready to find out these 7? Have you all got a piece of paper and a pen? Because you're going to need it. And I know I talk really fast, but that's because I want to get through the most amount of information that I can in a very short space of time. And you'll get the replay so you can watch it back. And I'm also going to show you my model. So it's called the PDE strategy model. This is what I use in my own strategy and when I'm looking for gaps in my clients' businesses. Just to give you an example, I have a client right now in my mastermind that came to me with, she already had a successful business, but she'd started an online business and she wasn't making enough money in this online business. And she came to me in January and said that. And I said, well, I can just see now, here are the gaps. Here's what you've got to fill. This is what you need to do. And she found those gaps in her strategy and she went and did it. And she texted me, if you follow my Instagram stories, you'll know, she texted me this week, like on a voice message screaming, because she's already on 375,000. She started in January. And I told her she'd get to 500,000 within the first year. She's going to way past that just because of the gaps in the strategy. It was nothing else. It wasn't mindset. It wasn't that she wasn't doing the work or anything or anything. It was just strategy gaps. And I want you to be able to do the same thing. So I'm also going to show you at the end of the presentation a way that you can become CPD accredited as a strategist yourself if you want to help other businesses and have a ripple effect on a new generation of successful online businesses, or even if you want to just help yourself. I've built a business that gives me freedom, and that freedom's important to me. And you can help yourself and others to do this too using my strategy methods. So what actually is a strategy? All it is, people think it's so complicated. It just combines the plans the business has and the actions a business needs to do to create the desired results the business owner wants. It sounds simple, and it is kind of simple, but there's just a little bit more to it because you need to understand what the plans are that the business have and what actually is the desired result that the business owner wants. So the PDE method that I use is very simple. It's planning, putting a plan together of what the business needs to do, where the gaps are, what the actions are that the business needs to do. It's developing the business and executing the plan. So it's those 3 parts. So if we look at this, so planning, developing, and executing, and if we're using this PDE method, we're using it throughout the 7 pillars of strategy, which you can see on the bottom there. I'm going to go through all 7 with you now. Every successful business uses this PDE method in some way, maybe not as thoroughly as I do, but they do use it. It starts with a narrative or a strategy model, which is kind of what the business stands for, how the business operates, who the business is known as, and then it's planned, developed, and executed really well. And it means there's an ecosystem that has 7 parts to it, all using the 8th part, which is the PDE method at the core. And that's really what it's made up of. And you might think that some businesses don't use it. Lots of people go, oh, I've seen spiritual businesses and they don't use it. That's what they're telling you. They definitely are. People that are making multi-7 figures, 8 figures, they are using a strategy model of some kind. So let's go through the 7 parts. First one is choosing and developing a business plan and a strategy model. So your business plan starts with your values, not your values, let's make that clear, your business values and business behaviors. People get this confused. You are not your business. You are the CEO of a business. It is not you. Your values might contribute to the business values, but they are not the business values. A business has to be able to operate without you and your values. So although you may be a personal brand, I think most of us are, the business must have its own values. Otherwise, it's reliant on you alone, and that's not sustainable because you can't be there all the time. So we're going to choose and develop a plan that works for the business and a strategy model that works for the business. This is the foundational stuff, part 1, that you need to put in place first. Mission, vision, values, tactics, all of those kind of things. And when I say tactics, I'm not saying it in a bad way, not like bad tactics to try and get people to buy things that they don't want or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, real strategic tactics of where the business is going. Number 2 is the PTP process. And this is where it's all about operations. So it's the thing that makes the business operate well. The process that the business uses, all the processes, the product or service itself, the team that is delivering and is marketing, and the profit that you are making, which is important. These 4 elements are crucial, and at the planning stages of a business, for some reason, online businesses just skip all this. They skip part 1 because it's boring. I don't want to do mission and vision and values, just want to sell things. And then they wonder why they're not actually getting any sales because they haven't done the basics. And then they skip this, which is really important. If you don't know the processes, the product, even if there's just one of you in your business, you are still the team. And the profit, they need to be looked at. Number 3 is the business and marketing research. So this is still before the selling part. It's the research part. It's the viability part that no one does. And then they wonder why things don't work. So this stage of any business helps generate leads, which every business needs, identify opportunities for your business, identify weaknesses that your business have. That's where you find gaps. Qualify those leads, because leads are going to come in that aren't right for you to work with. We don't want to work with everybody. We don't want to feel in a position where we need the money, and so we're going to work with everyone. So we need to get the right leads through the door, quality leads. And this is going to impact your positioning. So when you see people out there that are selling something and they're saying they're luxury and they're saying they've made multi-millions and all this kind of stuff, and then they're selling like a mastermind for a couple of £1,000 for a year, or they're selling a membership for a really low cost, there might be a strategy to that. And so it might be okay, but sometimes it makes you feel that things aren't quite aligned. And it's like, why doesn't this feel aligned to me? Why doesn't this feel real? Why does this feel false? And it's because the positioning doesn't work. The positioning needs to be right for what you're selling and what you're saying you are as a business. If you're saying you're a luxury business and you're selling cheaply, no one's going to believe that. And so it will affect your sales. The same goes the other way. If you're selling a really high ticket, but everything around you looks budget, it's not going to work. You need to understand your positioning in the marketplace, which means you need to understand the marketplace. And most people don't understand the market that they're in at all, because we're being told things that are ridiculous all the time, like don't ever look at your competition. I've never heard such rubbish in business. If you don't look at your competition, I don't mean compare yourself to your competition, but if you're not looking at your competition, how can you possibly understand the market and the position that you're in that market? So this bit is missed out of 99% of online strategies that I see. And yet leads and audience, which come into this bit, the business and marketing research, leads and audience make the biggest impact on profit. And yet this part of the strategy is missed. It makes no sense. Like, we need to include it. I will answer your questions at the end if you have them. So please don't worry if you've got questions. Part 4 is the growth analysis. So this is where we look at the external factors that are going to influence your business, because they will influence your business. We saw this with AI last year. All the copywriters that decided they were not going to do any kind of SWOT analysis, they were not going to do any kind of pestle and look outside their business. Suddenly AI was there and loads of them went out of business because they hadn't prepared for the external factors. Now, the people that did do a SWOT analysis, did do pestle analysis, they knew it was coming a year before and they put contingencies in place. Some of them now are teaching AI. And that was the way to do it. But this is why we have to do pestle and SWOT analysis all the time on our business. This is the part that will help you become the CEO of your business rather than an employee, as it will help you make the right decisions for the business. And it will let you know what to do at every stage, whether you're a new business or you're helping a new business, right through to scaling and even exiting. It also helps prioritize your business activities around a marketing plan, because this is about growth. This is about how to get the business making more money. And it's looking externally at what is going to affect that. And sometimes it's what is going to affect it for good. Something might come in that will massively help your business. Mine was COVID. It massively helped my business. And I could see, as soon as people started to talk about it, that they were probably going to shut down companies. And that was going to massively help me because I'd be able to bring them all online. So because I'd done that SWOT analysis, I could see what was going to happen. It was a very short time frame. I much prefer a SWOT analysis where I see something a year in the future. But things like regulation are another one. If you know things are coming, you can plan for them. Number 5 is around building the actual business. So this part of the strategy looks at who you need to help you in the business, whether it's freelancers, whether it's suppliers, whether it's support, whether it's employees, but it's how to strategically go about recruiting them without wasting money, without making mistakes that people do. This is where you look at training that you might need or the company might need to fill those gaps. Normally there's a knowledge gap somewhere. Normally there's a resource gap somewhere, and that's why you're not making the money you want. And it includes things like staff, outsourcing, the strengths of your business as well. Remembering that we're going to use the PDE model to do this. Like, the PDE model is really important. Plan, develop, execute on all of these 7 stages. And then we get to sales. It's number 6. So most people go straight to this. Like, there's 5 other stages of strategy and most people could just go, oh, we're going to sell things. And even then they don't do the actual strategy. They don't have a sales strategy. You have to do sales planning to be able to continually make money. Otherwise you will have feast or famine. You will have a month where you make tons of money. You will have a month where you can't pay anybody. You have to have a steady sales plan. And you have to execute that sales plan. It's probably the most important part of the business because it's how you make your money. And without making money, you don't have a business. You have an expensive hobby. So the art of selling strategically and planning on how to make sales has been lost, as people now just copy what everyone else is doing on social media. Like, oh, this is what's trending. Let's do this and then we can make some sales. And then it doesn't work and they don't know why. And it's because they're following one small part of someone else's entire business strategy. And the other person's entire business strategy might all fit together. It might make sense. So if you see somebody, for instance, selling something really cheaply, so you go, right, low ticket it is then, I'm going to sell things really cheaply. What you might have missed is that's part of somebody's strategy to upsell to 4 other things, or to grow an audience because they're about to sell something at high ticket. Whereas you've just lost a load of money trying to compete with them by going low. So never copy somebody else's strategy. Just look at what you're doing. We talk about like different strategies for different products and services here as well, because logistics comes into it. Strategy, operations, all of these different parts make up the whole of sales planning. And then 7 is when you get to scaling a business. Most people get growing and scaling mixed up. Scaling is when you've already established it's exactly where you want it to be, and now you're just going to times 100 it, or exit, which is also about scaling a business. But before we can scale, you need to look at the business culture, what the culture's like. You need to look at the team that's needed to scale. So we went through this last year. There was lots of gaps. Like we needed different things to be able to scale. And then you need to look at the 3 stages of business. 1, startup stage. 2, growth stage. 3, expansion or exit stage. And your strategy, your plan that we talked about right over in number 1 is going to be different for each stage. So once you get to growth stage, you need to do it all again. You need to replan your strategy because it will be very different. But you can use the PDE model for all 3. You can still use plan, develop, and execute. And it's the execution of these things that is going to bring you in the money. You can plan it as much as you like, but if you don't actually put it into place, it's not going to work. And sometimes that's scary because when you do your strategy at the beginning of a year, you might see that where you want to get to is right over there. And to get there, you're going to need certain things like people, for instance, or knowledge. And that can be scary because that means that you're giving out money before that money's come in. But if you know that that's where the gaps are, and if you had those people or knowledge or resources in place, it would get you to the money that you wanted to make at the end. You'd do it, right? So it's about having a robust strategy. So as you can see here, having a real business strategy is much more complex and in depth than just, this is how you're going to market your business. You're going to go on social media for a bit. You're going to like get visible. It's much more in depth than that, but it's so worth it because it's what separates those businesses you see online that have huge profits and those that are struggling to get traction. It's only strategy that is separating it. I just wanted to give you a word on it, using integrity and ethics in your strategy. I believe that because my strategy was with integrity, right from the first year that I wrote my strategy out, it's the key to my multi-million success. There are hundreds of ways you can make millions. There's actually a phrase that is, there's a million ways to make £1 million. And I believe that that's true. And there are a million gurus out there shouting about a million different ways to make it. And lots of them are correct. But if you don't find a strategy that is aligned with your life, your strengths, your priorities in life, you'll always struggle and feel unfulfilled. And if you're not totally in love with your business, and people can feel when you're not in love with your business, or you're just winging it, this is going to impact your sales, always. So I just wanted to tell you about a couple of people that used the PDE strategy with me to get real strategic results. This is Carol Devaney, you may have heard of her. We worked right from the beginning on Carol's strategy when she first came into the online market, and we did a plan for startup. And now we have a plan for growth, and she's growing that business. So she says, Lisa took my ideas in under an hour, formulated them into a business strategy for an online business that would make me more money without a massive team or working more hours, because that's what she wanted. Like the goal comes first. After asking questions, she outlined what to do, individual steps, sequence, and the challenges I'd face. I followed what she said to the letter and have launched an online business that she loves. And she really does love it. And it's making a lot of money because it was about strategy right from the beginning. You may have heard of Kim Rain, the ADHD coach. Kim's strategy was forced upon her by me because she didn't realize what she needed to be doing in her strategy. She says I was the crucial part of the decision to niche her business. I was able to see there was a gap in the market for her skill set, her passion, and the fact that she had ADHD was perfect for her. So since working with me, her business rocketed, her audience grew effortlessly, her book sold over 1,300 copies in 3 months, and her revenue now has crossed easily 6 figures in the year, all because of the PDE method and looking at real strategy. So you need a strategy for the marketing, the delivery, and the sales of your business, whatever your business does, whether you are offline or online or corporate, and so do your clients. You can't just wing your pricing or promotional plan and do a few campaigns and hope it's going to work. By having a clear step-by-step strategy, you'll be able to sell your offers with confidence. And by understanding strategy, you'll be able to clearly see the parts of other businesses that aren't implementing well and help them plug their gaps so they start making profits. And it's really funny because we've obviously had about 2 or 3 cohorts go through my Strategist certification now. It's an accreditation with the CPD. And the ones that have gone through it, they always write to me afterwards and say, I can now look at somebody else's business online and see the problem. Because it's like reading a different language. You can suddenly understand it. You can suddenly see why things aren't working. So I don't want you to miss any steps or important details and jeopardize your chances at building a business that gives you the freedom and income that you want. My goal this year is for more online businesses to succeed in a low economic market using proper strategy, so we can create a ripple effect and lots of other people will get strategies and change people's lives. So I wanted to just introduce to you the program. I will do a Q&A after this, I promise. This is my CPD accredited program to become a certified business strategist. Now, some people take this program for their own strategy. Some people take this program because they want to become a strategist. And some people take it because they're already a strategist and they want the comprehensive certification to go with it. Some people have other businesses and they want to add on the fact that they're a strategist because it helps their value. So there's lots of different reasons why people do this. So it's an accredited program where I teach you my business strategy methods in detail, but also certify you as a business strategist to take on clients so that you can help them with their own business issues as well. So as well as the modules, there are workbooks. So each module has a workbook to help you cement your learning. It helps you work on your own business strategy while learning how to help others with their strategies, because we need to do both. We need our own strategies to be solid, as well as helping other people. It also has a private client Facebook group. It's where you can share your questions with each other, your learnings, and connect with the other strategists in the group. You also have 2 in-depth Q&A sessions with me for anything that you don't understand, but I'm also in the group all the time. Now, at the end of the training, there is a case study and an exam. This is to show that you can implement what you've learned. It will give you experience of how to actually do this with a real business, because that's what we want you to do. You have to take the exam as well. These will be marked by our qualified assessor, and on passing, you will be a certified CPD accredited business strategist, and you'll be able to market yourself as such. We also keep a directory at that Strategy Co, where all our accredited strategists who pass go onto it. Not everyone passes, but we really try and get as many as we can to pass. It's over 80%. And this is where people come to us for referrals when they need help with their business, because I can't do everybody's strategy. I can't help everybody. And the demand far outweighs how many people are real strategists right now. And people know that if they come to my directory, people have been trained to the highest of standards. This is another person, Anna Payne, who we used with strategy. She was drawn to me because of integrity and the success that I've had. And I used strategy with her, and she said, Lisa, help me hugely with a strategy to grow my business and see a clear path forward from what felt like so many opportunities in different conflicting directions. It's noisy out there online. She's brilliant at getting straight to the point of what needs to be done, spotting the gaps in the business and giving straight talking, sensible advice. With her support, my business online has gone from strength to strength. And I think you guys can do this for people as well, not just for yourself. It would be much better for you to help others with it, because there's so much need. So if you want to up level in 2024, get accredited and add real value to your business that will give you the credibility to succeed in 2024 and beyond, I would love you to come into the accreditation. The investment, it's 12 monthly payments of £196 a month, or 9 monthly payments of £250, or a single payment of 2,000. And it includes the CPD certification. You don't pay extra to take the exam and the case study. We have got some bonuses because I know you guys always ask me for them. So bonus 1, which is the fast action bonus, if you buy within the first 24 hours, is an audit analysis workbook. This helps you know the questions to audit your own and other businesses. Because when we go through the program, you'll know the questions that you need to ask. This puts it all handily in one workbook that you can use for all of your new clients. Bonus 2 is if you pay in full. It's a metrics and KPI tracker. So this is so you can get a handle on the numbers in your business and other people's businesses and the KPIs. Now, we use this for our business and we use it for our clients' businesses as well. Bonus 3 is for everybody, and it's a strategy checklist of all the points you need to check in every business to make sure you cover all the points of their strategies. So everything you need to become a business strategist. The 8 sessions, 2 live Q&As, module workbooks to cement your learnings, case study support and marking, strategy checklist, audit workbook if you come in the first 24 hours, metrics and KPI tracker if you come in pay in full, exam and certification, and the private community for support for less than £200 a month. And it will add on a lot to your business. So the value of this certification, businesses pay from £1,000 to around £50,000 for business strategist support. So you just need to think, how many clients would I need to make as a business strategist to get my £2,000 investment back? Usually less than 1, because you will be charging more than that. We give a bonus at the end of the 8 modules. We give you an extra module, which is about how to market yourself as a strategist so that you can start getting the money in. So if you want to join, it's open for a week. It's the certified business, www.certifiedbusinessstrategist.co. I'm sure that somebody's going to put that link in for you in the chat. You'll be getting a replay of this as well and an email. So I wanted to answer any questions that you have on strategy. Let me just come out of here. There we go. And get the chat back up. All right, I'm just going to go down to where the first, in fact, Shelley, you probably can see more than me where the first question starts, because there's so many.
I'm in. Okay, hang on. Because I answered some.
The course is 8 modules and they're drip fed. So you get 1 module a week. And that's because it is quite intense. It is an intense course. You know, it isn't the easiest course that I do. It's for people that like to be challenged.
Right. Should we do the course before we have launched or wait until a business is set up and running?
At either time. If it's before it's set up and running, you're going to understand how to do strategy from the starting blocks. You're going to understand how to plan it out. If it's already running, you will be able to see the gaps in your business by doing the course and in other people's businesses. So either is fine.
Is this course specifically business strategy for online businesses and social media? Does it cover any strategy offline?
It's offline and online. It's pure business strategy. It's nothing to do with social media. It's all strategy that all businesses have to go through.
Is the Q&A one-on-one or in a group?
In a group. But if you want to ask individual questions, you'll put them in the Facebook group anyway, which I'm in, and I'll answer them there.
Can you retake the exam if not successful?
Only once. So if you take the exam and you fail, you do get an extra chance. Not many people fail this exam. If you watch all 8 of the modules, you will not fail because they're really comprehensive. And it's not like you have to sit there and take the exam in a specified time. You have like a couple of months to take it at the end of the last module. So you can take it whenever you like, and it can take you 2 hours. So, you know, you'll be fine.
Is this recommended in addition to OTM? If so, should the strategist course be completed before or after OTM?
You can do it at the same time, only if you have the time available. You're going to need an extra at the beginning. 2 hours a week for this, but as you get into it and you want to start looking at other people's businesses and your own business, you're going to need an extra 4 hours a week.
Does this qualify / certify you even without any business background?
Yes, because this is going to teach you what you need to know. It's not about you having a business. It's about you being able to go into other people's businesses because you've been trained of what to look for.
Will there be an opportunity to do this again?
Yeah, I'm sure there will.
Does it have to be done over a specified period?
No, you get lifetime access, but you have to take the exam and case study before 30th of August.
Would this work for a CIC?
Yeah, it can work for a CIC. It can work for non-profits. They still need strategies to be able to make profit.
I take it that the things you teach here aren't covered in OTM.
It's nothing to do with passive income. It is to do with business strategy in general for any business.
Will the course be recorded?
Yes.
Be recorded modules. So yeah, they're pre-recorded.
Yeah, they're pre-recorded, and that's why I do the Q&As live, and I'm in the Facebook group live. We've done that because when we did it last time, people said, I can't make 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. And I get that. So what we're going to do is drip feed each module, and we'd like you, if possible, to watch the module that week so that you can all ask questions in the Facebook group at the same time. But at least this way you can choose when you watch it in the week.
How long does it usually take to work on a client strategy? Is this a short process or long term?
It depends what part of the strategy you work on. And when we talk about how to market yourself as a strategist, we'll talk about which part of strategy you are going to be niching into. So if you are doing one part of a strategy, it might only take 2 days. But if you were doing a whole strategy for somebody, it could take weeks, if not months.
Can I share this recording with friends who might be interested?
Of course.
Will this be course be how often should you be doing your own SWOT or PESTLE for your own business?
That's a really good question. So if you haven't ever done one before, you should do it now. Like, you should do it straight away. You should do it before you start a business. You should do it before you add any new products or services into a business so that you can see what else is out there. And you should do it when you're at the point where you think the business needs a new strategy to grow. That's when you should do it again, at least once a year.
As they are pre-recorded, are there no Q&As from at the end from when they were originally recorded?
No,
because they've been recorded for this specially.
We've recorded it for this, for you. Does
your live event with Charlie cover any of this?
It covers a bit of the marketing part, but not really, because we're only teaching 1 hour in the sales and strategy day. We've got other people teaching bits like social media and bots and things like that. It's nothing to do with like business strategy.
Do you have examples of people who do the course with no business / business strategy experience who go on to get clients?
Lots do. It's like if you went to college and learnt how to do a particular thing, they wouldn't expect you, if you got a client, to then show them what you've done yourself. It's not about that. It's you learning, you being accredited to help other businesses and to get clients that way. They just want to know that you're trained in it.
How many times does it run? Do you have any other offers that are more appropriate for beginners?
Very, very basic beginners, only for online businesses. And it's not strategy based, it's more marketing based. Fabulous Foundations would be the one. But as a very beginner, you can learn strategy as a beginner and it will make a massive difference to your business.
If we sign up today, when will we get the first module?
I think it's in 7 days.
1st of May.
1st of May is when the first one drops.
What are the dates of the course? So it's all pre-recorded and you'll get access on the 1st of May.
You'll only get access to module 1 on the 1st of May, and then we'll drip feed the others weekly after that.
What options are there to work with Lisa, your team, to get help on my business strategy, like Carol and Kim, the case study people?
It depends. There's lots of different ways to work with me in that way. If you wanted a one-to-one day, which I've done with some of the people that you have seen online today, I spend a day with you just me, you, and sometimes my team and you, for about 6 hours, and that the cost of that is £20,000 plus VAT. Or we sometimes need to go and do about 3 months with you, and that costs 30,000 plus VAT.
How do you state you have this qualification?
We give you a logo that you can put wherever you like, but you just say, I am an accredited strategist.
Can we have more information on the case study? Can it be on our business, or does it need to be on somebody else's
It
business?
can be on your business. I would much prefer you to do it on someone else's business, because then you take emotion out of it. And the first time you do a strategy, it's better not to have emotion involved. So if you can't find a business to do it in, what people have been doing in the last cohort is swapping with each other. You do it on my business and I'll do it on yours.
Is there a more concise version if I want to learn from my business only?
No, it's the same. Whether you're learning for your business or somebody else's, you still need to do the exact same thing.
How often do you get incoming inquiries which you direct to the people who have completed the course?
We don't direct it to individuals, but what we say is, here is our directory. We get them daily. Here is the directory of people. Go and have a look at them and see which ones are best for you. We don't say go to this person or this person.
Do we get any help or advice on pricing ourselves as a strategist as a service to other business?
Yeah.
There's a whole bonus module on marketing yourself as a strategist. So for accreditation, it has to be done before the end of August.
You can do it and not be accredited and not get the certificate, but that would be a shame, because it's I think it's 8 I can't remember how many CPD points it is, but it's a lot. It's worth it.
I help businesses with marketing strategy. With this complement how I already help my clients?
Yes. And you'll probably, I've had people that have been doing strategy for 20 years come onto this and say, I needed this refresher. I forgot about this, this, and this. And a lot of them just want the certification to back up what they know.
When are the Q&As?
They're going to be, we haven't got the exact dates yet, but they're going to be, there's going to be at least 2 of them, and they're going to be like at the end of the month.
I feel like June and July.
Yeah.
Is there an outline of the modules? If you click on the link that I've put in here, all of the modules are on there.
Yeah, on the sales page, you'll find all of the modules.
Lauren has signed up.
Amazing.
Can you whiz through the bonus items again, please?
Yeah, basically, if you are coming in paying full, the £2,000, then basically what you get is this KPI and metrics tracker. It's what we use in our weekly meetings, that Karen brings us a KPI tracker and says, this is where we are with everything. This is where all our numbers are. And we all go, oh, we don't want to look at it. But that is what we do. And we give you that so that
Sorry, Karen.
Sorry, Kaz. So that's what you get for paying full. If you are coming in the first 24 hours, you get an audit book. So it's basically a booklet that you can audit other people's strategies with. And everybody then gets a bonus of the checklist.
Karen's put her camera on now because we were saying that we don't look at her KPIs.
She's all annoyed.
So there's the link. This accreditation is specific to the UK, is that correct?
No, I don't think so. I mean, CPD is known more by the UK, but it's globally recognised. Like, I have people in America who have done the programme because they're working with some UK companies, corporate companies, that use CPD. It's
65 CPD points, and that leads on to, what are CPD points?
They're basically points that make up a certification to show how thorough it is. OTM is 80, and that's like the most thorough program, I think, on the internet. So, you know, this is 65, so it's up there.
Do you make SWOT interesting?
As much as I can. It's not sexy, but it's sexy when it brings you in the money.
There you go. And then what options do you have available to assist with the online subscription business, please?
If you're looking to do online subscriptions, you need One-to-Many, which is closed at the moment, but we'll be back next year.
When did you say we'll be doing this again? We don't know. So
we weren't supposed to be doing it now.
Yeah.
It was only because people asked us to.
How does this differ to the strategy membership you have with Charlie? We don't have a strategy membership.
Don't have a membership with Charlie. I don't know what that means.
We're doing a sales and strategy master day with Charlie.
But that's marketing strategy.
Yeah. Please do it again at the end of the year so people doing OTM can do it.
Everyone says this. It's so hard.
There you go.
You do get lifetime access though, so you can still do it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. If you have any other questions, you know, you can always message us. You can always ask. But for now, I will leave you with that. Do watch the replay if you need to. And it's open until Tuesday at 10 p.m. next week. The 24-hour bonus disappears this time tomorrow. Hopefully, I'd love to see some of you in to get some new strategists on that directory, and so that we can send a ripple effect out to everybody else to have real strategy in their business and not this pretend marketing strategy that's going on. All right. I will speak to you all later. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. See you guys.